Welcome to Cold Spring Harbor High School in Nassau County. Today, Verizon Fios One Sports brings you the Nassau County playoffs and a terrific showdown in Nassau girls soccer. It's the Class AA Girls Soccer Championship, featuring the East Meadow Jets coming in with an overall record of 12-2-3 on the season. They take on the Syosset Braves, entering at 7-6-2. Let's show you the bracket and how the two teams got here. Two-seeded East Meadow took care of Baldwin 2-1. After taking care of Hicksville, lopsided by a 6-0 final. Syosset, a tough course to get here, 3-1 over Plainview JFK and 2-1 in the quarters over Farmingdale. And with that, welcome again to Cold Spring Harbor with Carrie Gluck. I am Ralph Bednarczyk. The story today is a chance to make some history for the pair of programs, and it's a matchup that we did not necessarily expect, and not due to the quality of the teams, it's that who is not here. Massapequa's run of winning 14 of the last 15 county titles takes at least a pause for tonight. They've won several state titles over that time. Instead, history could be made for one of these two programs today.
Well, the fact is, Ralph, that we have that much more parity in Nassau County among the girls teams, that right now it's now an open kind of a tournament, and that's why you have a 2-seed playing a 5-seed for the Nassau County Championship. East Meadow comes into tonight's game on a 12-game unbeaten streak with 12 shutouts in their resume, while on the other side, Syosset, with a very young team, is coming in tonight with a 3-game winning streak and looking to extend it to game number 4. They met earlier this season. East Meadow came away with 2 wins, winning both of those earlier games by the identical score of 1-0.
And we'll take a look at a pair of star underclassmen leading the offenses. For Syosset, they look for the program's first county title in their first appearance. And it is a freshman leading the way up top, with the Romano twins led by Bella Romano as their leading scorer.
Well, Bella Romano comes in with 9 goals, 4 assists. She plays on the left side up top. She is a left-footed player, but what I think makes her so unique, Ralph, is the fact that she has the innate ability to find the back of the net. And that is something that you just cannot teach a young player today. She has speed to go with her very, very accurate shot. She's capable of shooting with that left foot from 20 to 30 yards out. So that's got to keep a defender and a defense on their toes throughout the match.
East Meadow, they take the field tonight seeking the program's second county title and first since 1990. It's a sophomore paving the way at center forward in Milo McLeod that has opened up a lot of eyes.
Well, Myler's having a wonderful year. 11 goals, 1 assist. Last year as a freshman, Ralph, she was an all-class player. And with that, you know that she is very, very dangerous. She is very capable of taking on defenders 1v1. She also has a very accurate feet and can shoot with both right and left, and that therefore makes it double trouble for any defender who has to mark her.
What an enticing matchup, East Meadow and Syosset. Someone's going to create some new history tonight. We're coming back with the Nassau County Class AA Girls Soccer Final on Verizon Fios One Sports. Welcome to the Nassau County Class A Girls Soccer Final. Syosset taking on East Meadow from Cold Spring Harbor High School. Along with Carrie Gluck, I'm Ralph Bednarczyk as we introduce our two teams. Syosset will be the visiting team as the 5-seed as we look at their lineup today that's gone through a lot of different changes, but they've settled in on a very young bunch with Kewich, who's only a sophomore, Sharinkin, the outside backs, Miller and Shim, the center backs. Riley Miller is a freshman holding midfielder joining Halpern, a junior, and Brandt, a sophomore. Up top, the Romano twins are freshmen with Ali Milas, the junior center forward. In goal, it's a freshman too. Here's Eve Waldhauser. 89 saves this season. They had a question who would be the keeper this season. She seized the position. Travel soccer player coming off of 9 saves against Plainview in the AA semifinal, 6 more against the Dalers in the quarters. And head coach, here's Joe Marquetta in his 10th season coaching the Syosset Braves program, a 95 Walt Whitman graduate playing soccer at LIU Post for the great Paul Riley. And today for the East Meadow Jets. East Meadow playing out of a 4-3-3 alignment. Rose and Espinoza, the outside backs. Boyle and Kayla Leary commanding the center back position. Kiker, the holding mid, with Pavone and Vega. Dazzo and Torino flanking the center forward. Mila McLeod. In goal, the great Stephanie Sparkowski, just a junior, already long verbally committed to Michigan, and off the United States U16 team, Sparkowski has been a starter now for 3.5 seasons, splitting time as an 8th grader. The head coach is Adam Hananel in his 11th season. Last year's AA1 Conference Coach of the Year, a 98 Baldwin graduate. He went on to play lacrosse at Hofstra for John Danowski. Ahead of this matchup, Carrie, let's have a look at your Verizon Fios One Sports keys to the game.
Well, clearly for Syosset, they've got to take quality shots in order to be able to beat that goalie, Sparkowski, who is just outstanding, and they got to swarm McLeod, not give her much room. East Meadow, they've got to neutralize the Syosset midfield, or they're going to just continue to play through balls and contain Bella Romano, see if they can make sure she doesn't find the back of the net.
This is the 3rd meeting of the season between these two teams that both play in Conference 1, Class AA, in the ability-based league, being the best league. And East Meadow won both meetings in the second half. 71st minute on September 13th, and then on October the 3rd, a 58th minute goal. Stephanie Sparkowski was in goal for both. Mila McLeod had a goal on a restart in the game at East Meadow, and then an assist on the game-winning goal at Syosset. So Sparkowski in goal. Eve Waldhauser, the freshman, in goal for Syosset. So both teams know each other quite well. They're club teammates on opposite ends. With East Meadow in the blue on blue, white on white for Syosset. Our center referee, Mr. Tom Colley, working with Randy Levine and Mark Alfano. Trying to get wide is Mila McLeod and trying to center in, but it'll be a goal kick immediately for Eve Waldhauser. Both teams, of course, have changed over the course of the season, as Syosset did not have Kendall Halpern, their starting center midfielder, in that second meeting, which could be a great help tonight for the Braves.
And on the other side, Ralph, let's not forget the fact that East Meadow did not have Alyssa Vega in either of the 2 games earlier this season. So we are seeing players from both teams who are instrumental and important to both these 2 teams not play previously.
And the Braves, they want to possess through the middle, as does East Meadow, but especially in the case of Syosset, Joe Marquetta saying we want to make teams just like East Meadow chase us. The 2 center backs, Miller and Shin, exchanging. Kelly Batkowitz, the left back. And she tries to get to the outside, and we'll be able to get into East Meadow territory. The check-in for Ali Milas, starting center forward. Some room for Avani Brandt. Brandt, the sophomore midfielder, taking the quick shot, and it's blocked. Good job sliding over there. Taylor Kiker, the holding mid.
I like the way Avani Brandt was able to turn and shield the ball and still had space to be able to attack and get the shot off, though it was blocked by the defender. She did a very nice job in the midfield being able to possess.
The start that the Braves would have hoped for. Sasha Charinkin, senior right back, a co-captain and 2-year starter on this young Syosset team. They have a lot of seniors, Carrie, but they're not necessarily in the starting lineup. As you and I dissected the 2 teams, a lot of youth on the field tonight for the Braves. We wondered how that might factor in.
Well, playing on the big stage under the bright lights, these young players have to really be able to adjust, and yet you have East Meadow, who's got an experienced team. I think early on it goes in the favor of East Meadow. But, it's interesting, as you pointed out, that they have so many young players, but yet from last year's team, they only graduated 2 starters, did Syosset. So, they're filling in with players that were young last year and are still young.
And there was a lot of optimism as we see Joe Marquetta, and they lost a player to academy in the early season. So they had a lot of things to figure out. Goalie, center mid, but they took a little something out of each game as this team continued to tinker with personnel. So that's why they settled for the 5 seed, as Syosset went 5-5-2 in the tough Class AA Conference 1, the top league at this classification. Far side, Bella Romano with her first touch. And East Meadow will drive it forward on what is a chilly evening, but not much wind here in Cold Spring Harbor, so that's a good sign for 2 teams that truly like to play the beautiful game. Bella Romano. Mary Boyle, the starting senior center back. And East Meadow with Alyssa Vega trying to chase, instead handled by Kendall Halpern. Halpern, terrific all-around athlete. We'll talk about her as we go along, but a chance to be all-county in 3 different sports this year. The check-in by Milas, and on the return to Riley Miller, the holding mid, out wide. Bella Romano sliding out is Sparkowski to challenge, and it'll be a corner. Good through ball sent in to the freshman.
Well, that was nicely done by Syosset. They are doing a very nice job. Watch this little ball being played into the space as a backside run comes in from the left side, and that is Romano, who we spoke about earlier, number 10. There is Bella that you see in your picture right now, who is their leading scorer, and that was a nice backside blindside run.
You'll hear the Romano name quite often. Their cousin Danielle Romano will come in at some point, so there'll be 3 at one juncture. Trying to win the second ball. It was sent ahead by Halpern and played back out of the reach of McLeod. Cameron Miller. And Miller to keep possession. And a step through by Avani Brandt. Brandt eventually turns it over. And Vega trying to check into McLeod. East Meadow has done a lot of chasing so far, as it's dealt back by Emma Torino. The pleasant surprise of this East Meadow team, 23 in blue. And was able to win a job as a forward, as Syosset will keep it.
In the early going so far, and I know it's only a few moments that we're into the match, but Syosset has really been the dominant team in terms of possession and territorial domination. They have really not allowed East Meadow much over the midfield stripe.
Good challenge and step forward there by the starting sophomore left back, Ali Bakkiewicz. She's back from an ankle injury, missed some time this year. And a very physically strong player. And Bakkiewicz with Avani Brandt. Club teammates with East Meadow's Mila McLeod, so that adds an extra layer. They both play for the East Meadow Soccer Club. This is McLeod with the ball across. This one off the body of McLeod by Sharinkin attempting the clearance. And East Meadow with Haley Dazzo will keep it. Almost a disaster in terms of a deflection towards goal for Syosset. And the Jets quickly playing it in, looking for Vega. Alyssa Vega. Chance to counter for Syosset. Brandt. The connection, Milas. The return to Avani Brandt with Romano running the field, and the shot is just deflected wide as Sparkowski got a piece. Avani Brandt at a corner picked out.
What a nice counterattack by Syosset, how quickly they came out of their defensive third, and it was all really created by Ali Milas, who checks and then plays the ball off of the check to an off-running Brandt out of the midfield. And if it was not for Sparkowski's ability in the net to be able to get a little deflection there, it might have just been a very opportune moment for Syosset to get on the board.
Christina Pavone able to win the ball back for East Meadow. The Jets quite comfortable in playing the ball back and through Sparkowski. And to the outside, there's the right back, Scarlett Espinoza. As Espinoza bottled up by Brandt before Espinoza will recover. Vega tries to send the ball here on the wide side for Dazzo. Charinkin on the takeover to the feet of freshman Riley Miller. On past Halpern, follow up by Miller, with her older sister Cameron being right behind her as the center back. Ball intended for Bella Romano. East Meadow with Dazzo, and already the battle at the midfield has so far been commanded by the Braves. There is senior Taylor Kiker, though, that changes that, winning the ball, and has McLeod in front. We've played nearly 8 minutes, with the two teams having played a pair of 1-0 games decided in the second halves in the regular season. And a young Syosset team has looked quite comfortable.
Well, this young Syosset team is really not so young anymore. The fact of the matter is, with the year's experience, they are playing now with another year under their belt, and they're now, instead of sophomores, they're the equivalent of juniors playing after this long season.
Miller did not have an outlet. It'll be a deep throw coming in for East Meadow. The Jets last year reaching the semifinals where they were the 2 seed, losing to eventual champion Massapequa. Syosset last year, they lost to Massapequa in last year's quarterfinals. Milas. And good step into by Kayla Leary. First time we mentioned the returning first-team All-Long Island center back. That's headed to Fairfield. Rose, the left back, on the head ball. Space for Avani Brandt.
Nice little 1-2 off the step over by Brandt.
Brandt with Riley Miller. Batkowitz. And to the outside, Bella Romano. Good start to this one, just one shot. And that was stopped by Stephanie Sparkowski in goal for East Meadow. The Jets 4-0-1 over the last 5, 12 shutouts on the season. And Syosset will have the throw. The Braves are the first 5 seed to reach any girls soccer final since 2002. So they've already achieved some history. And this new AA format was started by New York State in 2003. Back then it was A, B, and C. Now there's an additional layer for even bigger schools, AA. McLeod. And McLeod was knocked down, but there's the late advantage. Mila McLeod with her speed. She scored in the first meeting of the 2 teams on a 20-yard restart and a play similar to this.
Nice turn by Mila, taking it from the flank, brings it to the inside.
Back on September the 13th, her goal, a 20-yard strike, was the game winner in the second half. This one is a little bit further out, but a similar circumstance. Could be about a 25-yard strike for McLeod. With 3 on the wall, and McLeod, as she played it across, looking for someone to head it in. Rachel Rose, the closest to it, along with Leary, the center back.
That was a well-taken shot by Mila. She shows, as we said in the open, Ralph, she's capable of putting the ball in from 20 or 30 yards out. She has a really nice foot and really could have been a shot on goal. But yet the fact of the matter is, if East Meadow had someone running back post with the header, that could have been in the back of the net as well.
The second runner was actually Haley Dazzo as East Meadow wins possession. The Jets are here after getting past Baldwin. What a good season Coach Darius Burton's team had. East Meadow had to survive a tough game as they got a header off of a corner in the 24th minute from Kayla Leary after she missed an early PK. And the Jets are here after that 2-1 win. And Coach Adam Hananel is going to make a pair of early substitutes here into the 12th minute. They won't get the subs in yet. Brandt. And a good decision to locate Chirinkin. Space for Emma Romano. And the Braves try to possess through again. Chirinkin. As Milas checked back for the possession. Chirinkin able to slip the pass through beautifully for Brandt.
And that was in tight space with 3 defenders around her. That was well executed.
Espinoza, good step into Bella Romano with the pass just a bit too soon. And Espinoza, sophomore right back, 2-year starter at that position. And what a talent at that spot the Jets have to move forward with. As Torino had it taken away by Miller. Milas. As Pavone will drop it Outside to the feet of Torino. Milas unable to get onto it. Mary Boyle pushing it ahead.
And that was a good step defensively by Syosset. Again, then they look to change and attack wide. They go from middle or inside out and back into the middle.
Emma Morano to play back to Charinkin. The last time a 5 seed won the AA championship, or any championship for that matter, Carrie, you have to go back to Valley Stream South in 2000, defeating Garden City. This classification in particular, of course, has been dominated for the last 25 years by the 1 seed, mainly being Massapequa over that time. Occasionally they would win it as a 2.
Well, Massapequa has really had its stranglehold on this classification for well over a decade.
And that's what makes it interesting tonight, is Adam Hananel's team had a couple of good battles with the Chiefs. Scoreless tie on October the 1st, where he took a lot out of, as we look at the past champions. Only MacArthur there as the different team. Very easy to predict kind of who would be at the minimum in the game, and then another scoreless tie against Massapequa on October the 19th. But Adam Hananel thought for this particular team, getting those scoreless ties, he had to get into them that belief that we're no longer facing the Jersey Massapequa, that they're still humans, they're still soccer players, and he had to get over that hurdle, needed to get his girls over that hurdle of, well, we're facing Massapequa.
Well, after you saw that last graphic and how dominant Massapequa was, for any team to be able to come away without a loss playing Massapequa twice has got to be a confidence builder for any team, and that's really, I think, was truly a turning point for East Meadow, for them to believe the fact that they could not only compete with Massapequa, but they could very well come away with a W.
Batkowitz, strong step into as she comes up a bit hobbling. And that might be knee to knee,
yeah,
as Kelly Batkowitz tries to walk it off.
East Meadow substitutions, number 4.
There's the touch, and there you see the 2 young ladies going at each other. And that was Taylor Kaiser, East Meadow, who knocked knees with Batkowitz.
Batkowitz is going to remain on. Meanwhile, East Meadow making 3 substitutions at this point. So Adam Hananel trying to perhaps change up the way the flow of this game is playing. As he brought on freshman backup forward Sarah Goncalves as one. Mary Fitzsimmons a backup forward. So both wingers have been subbed out. Surrounding the center forward McLeod. Riley Miller. Charinkin to jump into your picture.
Nice little pullback move and maintain the possession.
Brandt. And Brandt was looking to the middle of the field for Bella Romano, who is now moved to the center forward spot for Syosset. As the chess match continues, as that ball out of the reach of also backup outside midfielder Ella Foster.
See, the
also
difference
win for East Meadow.
The difference right now, as we just saw for Syosset, when they move Bella into the middle, Bella is a different kind of player than is Ali Milas. Milas is a player that likes to play with her back to the goal. She'll check to the ball, whereas Bella Romano is more of a player that will demand the through ball and will not be checking back as much as Mila.
Joe Marquetta talked about adapting to the game, and he has such a bright soccer IQ team with so many of his players playing travel soccer, so in many cases they're wise beyond their years. Foster knocking it out off of Batkowitz, who has remained in despite taking the knock just a minute ago. Espinoza looks for the entry. Each team with a shot. East Meadow, a good look from McLeod on a restart. Syosset with Brandt on a shot that Sparkowski was able to deflect. And in both regular season meetings, The goal by East Meadow came either directly or soon after a restart.
Well, you know, set pieces or dead ball restarts are very, very important to the game, and you will find that there is a success rate of approximately about 20 to 25% off of the dead ball restarts. So clearly that is an aspect of the game that everyone has to work on over the course of the season, to defend as well as to execute offensively.
And that was still the area of improvement that Adam Hananel of East Meadow feels, that they have spent a lot of time on their play in the box, both offensively and defensively. East Meadow's only given up 7 goals this season, but 4 of which have come off of restarts. And then the other part, he thinks they just haven't been scrappy enough on restarts over the course of the full length of the season. Get another Syosset sub coming in.
Syosset substitution number 35, Isabella Lee.
As Isabella Lee will check in for the first time for Syosset. And Lee is a sophomore that will come in as the left back for Batkowitz, as we'll get the foul here against Syosset. Good start to this one, 20 minutes in. A very level match to decide Nassau County Class AA. The winner will take on either one-seeded Hills East, who is trying to make history of their own in Suffolk County tonight, or 4th-seeded Smithtown West. What a moment that is for Hills East in their first ever county finals appearance. Brant, as Brant was bottled up, the late advantage being given and granted to Syosset.
And they did have the advantage, so I think that the whistle could have been held to allow Syosset to maintain possession.
Emma Romano. Good ball slipped to twin sister Bella. And Bella trying to get wide. It'll be a Syosset corner.
But there you saw this different style that Bella Romano brings to the table, that through ball, which can be very effective and very dangerous, Ralph, as opposed to the Ali Milas approach, which is back to the goal, checking and laying off for the midfielders.
They played it short, and Sharinkin sends it out of reach. As we touched on our keys to the game, not many teams on Long Island and frankly in the nation have been able to get goals past Stephanie Sparkowski. And that's why the Jets have only allowed 7 goals this season at 12, 2, and 3 as they seek for the program's 2nd county title. They only graduated 4 seniors themselves, good contributors. And they've had their moments where they had to be remotivated. They lost to Baldwin, which, as Adam Hananel described, extremely motivated us. They did not expect that, and then ended up tying Baldwin the next time, where they felt they were the better team for both, before those scoreless ties against Massapequa started to give the Jets the confidence that they are playing with tonight. So Lee now the new left back, as we'll see if Syosset gets Kelly Batkowitz back after she tried to stay in and play after knocking knee to knees. Good through ball sent across. Rachel Rose, the left back, getting in deep, and it has to be cleared out by Syosset.
Well, defensively, Rachel Rose did a very nice job, but I like the way East Meadow attacked here, playing the 1-2 right up the middle, right up the gut of the defense. But Rose was effectively in good defensive position to be able to protect against any shot taken by East Meadow.
Well, Tom Cully has called an offsides on the pass, so instead it'll just be Charinkin on the restart. So Sasha sends it down the middle. Brant and McLeod. And look at the foul against Mila McLeod, who has not gotten many touches as of yet in this first half. Lee, Riley Miller, Look for Brandt before the play shut down by Christina Pavone, senior center midfielder. McLeod. And McLeod stepped into by Riley Miller. Follow up by Pavone, and the whistle will go against McLeod.
Like the call there by Mr. Cully, that was a correct call. And the play being given over to Syosset after the foul. Right here, you see it by McLeod. And she clearly took down the ankles.
Out wide, Emma Romano.
A lot of space to be able to serve the ball.
They look for the trailer down the middle. It's eventually swept away. Great last bit of a sweep by Kayla Leary, commanding the East Meadow defense.
That's where the midfielder has to be crashing the 18, and the center forward has to hold that run to not get parallel or square to the ball, but rather hold the run so she can run onto the ball.
Taylor Kiker to take it away. McLeod with runners to the front. McLeod continuing. Ball for Mary Fitzsimmons, who could not get there.
Now McLeod saw Fitzsimmons, and that was a nice little layoff. Again, it just carries a little too far on the turf for Fitzsimmons to be able to get to it.
And East Meadow starting to win a little bit more of the midfield tug-of-war possession battle compared to the opening 10 minutes, as Cameron Miller has to concede the deep throw.
Here you have another opportunity. Watch McLeod. She gets her head up, which is so important, and she sees Fitzsimmons making that run just a little bit too hard on the touch. If the ball was a little softer, played with the left foot a little softer, Fitzsimmons, I think, really had a good opportunity.
Alyssa Vega checking back in for East Meadow. 4 subs just came on for the Jets. Now Vega, who is only playing in her 9th game of the season, Carrie, she tore her ACL essentially last year at this time, and she worked out with the team all summer with non-contact, and now confident enough to play. Still not 100% game shape, but he is a factor as far as the pace of this game goes, as there's a touch as Rose got in deep again, and Syosset has to concede a corner.
Now this is where they can become very dangerous, but watch the attack out wide, and there you see Rose being in good defensive position to be able to prevent that ball from being serviced in.
The left-footed Haley Dazzo. Leary in the air, right into the hands of Waldhauser.
Good head by Leary with that outswinger being taken by East Meadow. And Waldhauser being right in the right place at the right time on that header coming off the head of the East Meadow midfield.
Syosset will advance the ball further. The 2 seed meeting of the 5. Riley Miller, who's played a strong first half. And Bella Romano could not get there. Taken right back by Syosset. Over the top looking for Emma Romano. And Sparkowski, who of course can cover a lot of ground, gets there.
And does a nice job coming off her line. She read it very well, did Stephanie Sparkowski. Nicely done by Syosset. Good left foot, looking again to make a diagonal ball played across the box, but Sparkowski does an excellent job reading that and coming off her line to take any chance away for Syosset.
McLeod. Played back across, and it's intercepted. Not a great pass intended for the left back Shari.
She just telegraphed that ball coming across the midfield.
However, Kayla Leary, a 4-year starter at center back, to clean up. Emma Romano. Over the top as Boyle looks to recover. Espinoza slides over first. And a hard challenge there from Kendall Halpern. And watching Kendall Halpern play all the different sports we've broadcast with her on Verizon 5-1 Sports, one thing for sure, always playing extremely hard. As a yellow is now going to be assessed by Tom Cully, and this may be directed towards the East Meadow bench.
No, I believe it was directed to Scarlett Espinoza on the foul, and it's right on the touch line, right there, which I think Mr. Cully felt was a little bit unnecessary with the ball perhaps even being out of bounds at the time.
Substitution number 23.
And good look at that. The ball was almost across as Espinoza had the challenge. Meanwhile, back in the game, Kelly Batkowitz at left back for Syosset. As she sends it in, Halpern looking to win the next ball against Dazzo. McLeod through a crowd. Dazzo to move forward, but Riley Miller taking it off of her feet. Churinkin got away with the pressure of Pavone. Down the middle, Mary Boyle. She's a 3-year starter at center back. Leary next to her, 4 years. Sparkowski, almost all 4 years. And what a nucleus East Meadow has had over this time. Pavone with patience. As the ball carries through, McLeod won't reach it. As Batkowitz sent it to the outside.
I think up to this point, Syosset has been very effective in the midfield, Ralph. They have done a very nice job. They maintained a lot of possession. They changed the point of attack. They look to get the ball to the flank. They do not hesitate to play the ball into their defense, playing back in the direction that they are facing. Here is the midfield play, and look at the room right now that East Meadow is giving them in the midfield area.
As Halpern tries to chase, ball won by the freshman Sarah Goncalves. A gritty player off the East Meadow bench that comes in. Batkowitz looks like she is shaking off the leg issue. Churinkin tries to send out Bella Romano, but Kayla Leary right in her back pocket. Riley Miller read the play. Ball to the feet, though, of Alyssa Vega first. Batkowitz now coming from the middle of the field, trying to make a run. Emma Romano to lay it down. It was quite fascinating carry. Of course, there are great families in different communities that will litter certain athletic rosters, but the Romanos, that's something else in Syosset.
It's a dynasty.
It truly is. As here's Emma Romano playing it across, backside, and this one will be by Nikki Finelli, wide off of deflection. Finelli, a backup forward that's been dealing with an ankle injury.
That was a great opportunity. Watch this service coming across the box, stays low, and there is the chance. That was just a tremendously effective ball being played right across the box of the East Meadow defense.
Great ball served by Emma Romano. And Syosset will send Churinkin over.
Now you can see that East Meadow is familiar with the play because they have two defenders out there defending against the short corner.
No one went up for it for Syosset. A chance to counter for East Meadow. Emma Torino. As Torino, last year at this time, she was a cheerleader. Recruited back to soccer, plays it across, and did not have a runner. She's been the pleasant surprise. They heard great things about her from middle school, being a great overall athlete, but she was on the sidelines last year in the fall.
Good speed, good quickness, and the left foot. I'm not sure if that was meant to be a shot with the left foot or a ball being played across with the left foot. But it certainly was excellently done by Emma. Only the sophomore, as you said, 5 goals on the season. Showed her speed and quickness there.
You never know where you're gonna find athletes from. And in this case, for East Meadow, it came off the cheerleading squad. And she's also been a varsity lacrosse star, with mom Carrie Ann being a longtime lacrosse official in Nassau County. And a good challenge to win it. Vega got it to McLeod. McLeod will hold it up, now striking from distance and right into the hands of Waldhauser.
Again, you're seeing the fact that Mila McLeod is not bashful about taking the shots when she's within 20 to 25, and she has the leg strength to be able to put that right on net. And Waldhauser was in the right position once again for Syosset.
Taylor Kiker. Miller again read the path. Now Halpern to accelerate. Halpern trying to power through. Scored a goal in the semifinal against Plainview JFK. Kendall Halpern again to hold it up. Now flipped it looking for a pass inside. And she had Bella Romano in the vicinity. Halpern, not just the goal she scored against Plainview JFK, but Joe Marquetta lauded the defensive job she did against Plainview's and Nassau County's top scorer, Lexi Vagoda, who closed out her career and season with 29 goals and 15 assists. She had both goals as Plainview upset Massapequa in the quarterfinals, and Halpern held her to nothing, only one shot.
But let's keep in mind that Kendall Halpern's experience has been as a defender. She was a defensive midfielder, and she has played in the center back position. This is really the first year that she's played in the midfield. So her natural position is as a defender. So that does not surprise me. And she is very effective at closing down opposing offensive midfielders.
We get a foul right at midfield, and for Syosset, clip of their season, they eventually got going in the back half of the year, dealing with injuries, but their experience in the back four has held them together, said Joe Marquetta, and they've seen the fruition of their work, going 5-2 over their last 7 with 3 straight victories. Kiker could not control the touch. Espinoza, who's back in following the yellow card. Cameron Miller. And we'll get the challenge and the foul against Alyssa Vega. 5 minutes to go in this opening half. Chances have been tough to come by as expected, with Syosset's ability to possess and East Meadow's brick wall of a defense. Brandt targeting Emma Romano. Isabella Lee is now staying in to play right back. Emma Romano, as she searches for the cross, and Boyle with the late challenge was able to get in front and prevent Bella Romano to get the look.
Well, I thought Bella Romano handled that very well, being able to get that right foot on it. But look at Emma's service, and there you see to Sister Bella, who gets a little bit of the right foot with a little bit of spin on the ball, heading in towards Sparkowski.
McLeod again, full head of steam. With a lot of white jerseys, Mila McLeod out wide, Rose the left back, settles it, gets the shot, and it's well off to side netting.
Now that was another good opportunity for East Meadow to be able to challenge and get a shot on the goal. And there you see East Meadow, that's Rachel Rose coming forward to be able to get that shot. There were so many defenders, though, you saw around McLeod. There had to be open blue jerseys somewhere. There were 5 or 6 white jerseys around McLeod, so therefore there had to be some space for somebody to come forward.
Well, we did have the key carry, swarm Mila McLeod. That time Syosset did that and then some.
They were around her like bees to honey. They weren't giving her any space.
Good pressure on Brandt. Emma Romano eventually able to win it to lead. Miller tried the good switch. Ball pushed forward, though, by Torino. Emma Torino slips it into McLeod. McLeod backside run for Torino, and the shot skipped in. Waldhauser is eventually able to jump on it.
Did not handle it cleanly, but there were no blue shirts being able to crash the goal. But the ball being played through by McLeod gets it out wide. I think what happened was Eve Waldhauser took her eye off the ball, which allowed it to deflect off of her. But that was a nice opportunity for East Meadow to be able to get the ball into that back third of the defense. I don't think tonight, I think it's going to have to be somebody else other than McLeod who's going to find the back of the net, Ralph. I think the Syosset defense is not going to give Mila much opportunity in tight, and they'll give her the shots from 25 or 30. But if she looks to try and penetrate, I think they're going to try and really throw numbers at her. And so she's going to have to find other teammates that are going to have the opportunity to find the back of the net.
And carrying the numbers indicate that. And of course, assists are sometimes a bit out of your control, but McLeod 11 goals and 1 assist on the season.
Well, that shows her danger, how dangerous she is. She has almost 50% of East Meadow's total goals.
And just the 1 assist. Vega, as the ball escaped her. Emma Romano checks back further inside, looking for Riley Miller. As Batkowitz, who's been aggressive on the left flank, advancing as she takes another knock. And there's an East Meadow foul. And Kelly Batkowitz, as Joe Marquetta said, she builds a head of steam on the dribble. And when she does that, she's difficult to stop. And there, I think Emma Torino caught her ankle.
Yeah, either that or it looked like it might have stepped on the foot, which obviously caused Batkowitz to fall. But the foul called by the official, Mr. Cully, right there on the foul.
She'll remain in the game.
Nice ball right there. I don't think the midfield was expecting that ball to be played by Mila.
It'll be East Meadow in the possession in the final seconds of the half. And this is just about going to take it, as we'll get a sub as Dazzo and one other Jet will return. But that's going to take care of the first half. A well-played one. A pair of programs trying to make history with Massapequa out of the way. East Meadow looking for their first since 1990. Syosset looking for their first period. No score at the break. The Jets and the Braves. We're coming back with a look at first half highlights and statistics. You're watching the Nassau County Class AA Girls Soccer Championship on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. We're scoreless after a well-played first half in the Nassau County Class AA Girls Soccer Championship with Carrie Gluck, Ralph Bednarchik, 5th-seeded Syosset, and 2-seeded East Meadow battling in Cold Spring Harbor. Let's have a look at our first half highlights. There were some good chances there.
Well, yes, early on, very good chances for Syosset, as you saw a shot being taken by Romano. And here you see sister to sister. Emma looking to go to Bella on the wing area. But Sparkowski well off her line, and another service well done across the box by Romano. And Syosset putting on some pressure. But at the other end of the field, McLeod has just given some very nice balls, even though she has taken her shots right on the goal for Waldhauser. A ball that was being played to the feet of Rose, not finished to the far post. And look at this nice layoff. And there you see the ball played across by Torino. Waldhauser not handling that cleanly, and I think that'll help the East Meadow players know that they have to follow shots, as you see them pretty even 6-4. And a lot on saves are all in the favor of Syosset with 3 saves. Corner kicks, fouls, pretty even.
Syosset looking for the program's first county title and their first appearance. East Meadow, they've won just one, but that was back in 1990. Someone can make history in the second half when we return on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. As we start the second half, scoreless in the Nassau County Class AA Girls Soccer Championship. Gary, let's have a second look at your Verizon Fios One Sports keys to our game.
Well, Syosset has to take quality shots. They did not get very many in that first half, but they did a very nice job swarming around Mila McLeod. Did not get her anything in tight. East Meadow, they have to do a better job in the midfield. Syosset is really doing well, and they did a nice job containing Bella Romano. She did not have very many good looks at the net at all in the first half.
Chilly night with temperatures in the 40s here at Cold Spring Harbor, but fortunately very little wind as our teams are back on the field. The winner off to the Long Island Class A final against Hills East or Smithtown West. Who will be the hero? Will someone be able to beat Stephanie Sparkowski in goal for East Meadow? Kendall Halpern for Syosset to open up the second half. The Braves put together a very strong opening, I'd say 12 minutes, prompting some substitutes for East Meadow. That seemed to set a tone before East Meadow settled into the game. And we had a very nice final 25 minutes, I think, after that.
Well, I thought it was very even for the most part, except at the midfield. I still contend that the Syosset midfielders have done a better job in the possession.
Kelly Batkowitz, who's taken a couple of knocks tonight.
A little miscommunication there by the Syosset midfield, looking for Batkowitz to make that run up the flank.
Halpern looking to slip the pass through for Bella Romano. Past Espinoza, where Boyle will send it forward. Gary, let's start with East Meadow coach Adam Hananel. Your team settled into the game. He made some substitutions. What do you think the message was at the half from him?
Well, I think we got, I would have said, let's close down the space in the midfield. We're giving too much room to the Syosset midfield to be able to change the point of attack. Let's close down their space, and let's play the ball a little bit wider and see if we can open up Mila in the middle of the field.
Room for Avani Brandt. Isabella Lee begins this second half, continuing as the right back. She came out as a sub. Brandt able to find a seam. Brandt now attacking and well over the bar.
I think Avani Brandt was just a little too anxious on that one to be able to take the shot. She does a nice job, splits the defense very well, takes that shot, but you see how she gets underneath it, and I think she could have done a better job getting over the ball and keeping it low.
Avani Brandt scored her first career goal on our Verizon Fios One Sports air last year. An early season game against Port Washington. Has 2-1 this season. Then if you're Syosset coach Joe Marquetta, your very young team looked very comfortable. What do you think he talked about?
And for a young team, you want to instill the confidence in them, Ralph. And so I would say to them, you did a great job in that first half. We did an excellent job controlling the midfield. Let's get the ball to Bella or Emma. Let's get it wide. And I would have Milas back in, because I think she was very effective checking to the ball and laying balls off.
In this case, Carrie, it looks like Kendall Halpern begins the second half at center forward, something Joe Marquetta mentioned. Well, he's used her all around this season. And Halpern played the first meeting primarily playing kind of forward. And the Braves lost and didn't play in the second meeting.
And right now, there's a very big gap between the midfielders from Syosset and the front runners. And unless those front runners start to check back, they're going to have a hard time getting the ball.
Halpern tried to turn the corner, could not. She has emerged as quite the talented athlete, helping Syosset make playoff runs in girls lacrosse, girls basketball. She's been an anchor for the team and making all those teams as an 8th grader. And Sparkowski here to settle it.
And that's, you know, she does such a great job instilling confidence in the defense that they can take chances, as you said earlier. But here you saw how Sparkowski is well off her line and able to handle that ball without any kind of pressure from the Syosset front line.
The other thing that has not happened that fans can stay tuned in for, Stephanie Sparkowski has 3 career goals And those coming over the last 2 seasons, and 4 assists. She takes a lot of free kicks from midfield. Romano, and was bottled up as Emma Torino was able to recover. But this match has been played quite cleanly. Can't think of a foul that East Meadow has had possession of, even to consider Sparkowski to be sent forward for.
Syosset has not committed any fouls in the midfield area because they are, they being East Meadow, does not hesitate to bring Sparkowski up to the midfield line to take a restart. And so therefore, I think that's very good for Syosset to keep her in the net.
McLeod is looking for a chip, and it'll lead to an East Meadow corner.
I don't think East Meadow has had very many opportunities off the corner kick in this first half. And you see her turn the ball. Look how Mila does a nice job turning and gets the deflection off the defender. I think that was Shin who got the deflect. And now you'll have a right-footed outswinger. I think they might have had one in the first half.
This one came across. There was a loose ball to far post as Alyssa Vega made that an adventure. Waldhauser was not able to secure it.
Waldhauser did not play that well. She overran the ball and then just stuck out her hand to try and deflect it, and that wasn't good enough. She was fortunate that her defenders covered up for her mistake.
Shin, 2-year captain for Syosset as the center back. And here is a hard foul, late challenge by Torino as Kelly Batkowitz is again shaken up. So this will be the best restart for Syosset.
Yeah, now let's see Sparkowski. Here she comes. Look where she is right now. There's the foul clearly by Batkowitz. But look where Sparkowski is, Ralph. She's 35 yards off of the end line.
Does she shoot for goal? It is to goal. Waldhauser! It missed over the top. That's why she's got 3 goals in the last 2 years.
That was dangerous. That was dangerous. And you had to watch the way Waldhauser attempted to field the ball. Her hands apart, and which would have made it very difficult for her to, if that was on net, very difficult for her to prevent going in.
One of the fine all-around athletes that Long Island has to offer, Sparkowski, despite her incredible soccer resume, is still playing 3 sports at East Meadow High School.
And how rare is that?
Which, especially moving forward, just a rare but special breed. Varsity basketball, varsity lacrosse, but her soccer accomplishments Long Island has not seen in a while, making the United States U16 national team, traveling to Belgium in May of 2017, and here she comes with another one. And they're quite comfortable with her from anything, as Adam Hannibal says. We kind of know there's a line of demarcation. We know how much is too far.
Well, no longer do... no
shooting again to strike, and this time the ball was loose. Waldhauser did not secure.
Again, not handling the ball well, Waldhauser. But no sooner do we say that Sparkowski hasn't had any restarts, and now she gets 2 in the last minute. Again, look at the replay. The strong foot by Sparkowski on goal. Waldhauser has to hold those balls, or there's going to be an empty net somewhere for one of those East Meadow players to knock the ball in, even off a topo.
Syosset escapes as Emma Torino was the closest to it. Blasted back in by Kiker. McLeod trying to get around Sharinkin. And we'll go back to a Syosset goal kick. So we've caught a glimpse of what some of East Meadow's weapons have been this year, as they've scored 26 goals during a 12-2-3 season, playing in the best league, Class AA Conference 1. This is the Nassau County Class AA Girls Soccer Final. 2-seeded East Meadow, 5th-seeded Syosset. Ralph Bednarczyk and Carrie Gluck with you from Cold Spring Harbor High School. And this game of particular note because perhaps at least The Massapequa dynasty has taken a pause. They have won 14 of the last 15 county titles, but their run was ended in the quarterfinals, believed to be the earliest exit the Chiefs have ever had. And Gary, you and I have spoken about this on a recent playoff broadcast with Southside girls 2 seed eliminated by 18th seed Valley Stream South, who by the way is not a real 18th seed anyway. The Garden City girls back-to-back quarterfinal exits. Syosset boys 1 seed out in the quarterfinals. Is this a changing of the soccer dynasties? Is it just a brief pause, or are we seeing a shift in the landscape and a much more balanced landscape moving forward?
Well, I think it's a combination, Ralph. I think there are 2 factors involved here. I think there's more parity and there's more balance, and I think there's poor seeding on the part of Nassau County.
Well, that for sure. We've seen that, and ironically, you and I are doing Mepham versus Garden City tomorrow on the boys' side. That has been the upset bracket. If you want to lose money in any kind of a tournament pool, Nassau County Class A boys soccer, that would be the one. And that's the one that has had lots of wild upsets annually, with double-digit seeds routinely reaching the Final Four or the county final. Not this year, though. Every other bracket, though, has had that.
But we have certainly seen that in the past, Ralph.
Here's McLeod escaping from Churinkin, stepping around Miller. And Syosset able to swarm her. Kiker tries the shot from distance, blocked by Cameron Miller. Kayla Leary. And the other factoid to that, Carrie, is we've seen the academy presence pop into the girls' side. Massapequa had a girl they lost. Hicksville had a couple of players they could have had. McLeod. And McLeod kind of losing her footing. And waits for some more support. But again, a lot of white shirts glued to her.
That was the first time, though, in the very early part of that last opportunity was McLeod 1v1. And that's when she lost her footing and allowed the defense to get in position and supporting play. And, of course, the numbers were just not in her favor.
Brandt along for Miller as Riley Miller looked ahead. Cameron Miller, and to the feet of Brandt. Syosset has not had the same kind of possession as they did in the first half. And McLeod was hoping for a foul as Sasha Churinkin stepped into her. So Churinkin now playing center back with Shin. And Cameron Miller has slid to a holding midfield spot. Ball out wide. Halpern now at left forward. Espinoza, and played it well.
Give credit to Scarlett Espinoza, the sophomore. She's a tough, gritty little defender. She took on Halpern. And there you see number 12 in your picture there, the 2 of them. And there will be something shown, I think, here by Mr. Cully, giving it to Kendall Halpern. I don't think she liked very much the fact that she lost the ball on that last opportunity, and here you saw Mr. Cully issue her the yellow.
Substitution number 36, Emma Romano.
That takes her off the field for a short period of time. And the frustration boiled over. Brandt, and Brandt picking up the foul against Christina Pavone. Espinoza, good recovery around Finelli. Miller, another nice subtle touch to find Brandt. And the ball out wide, just a tad slow. And the pickup and a push the other way from Rachel Rose. The Braves able to recover as Lee commanded it forward. Braves on the possession with the physicality increasing in a scoreless county final at AA, the biggest schools in Nassau County and the New York State level.
At this point, there's so much space on the near side of the field, with the ball being played extensively for the last few moments on the far side, Ralph.
As Emma Romano tried to get outside, Syosset, after that flurry of a pair of chances by East Meadow, and they've settled right back into their style. Cameron Miller with McLeod right behind her. We played 15 minutes of the second half. Scoring chances have been tough to come by. In the third meeting of the season between these two, both regular season games went to East Meadow 1-0 on goals in the second half. Torino.
Now the ball was changed to this point over to the near side and allowed East Meadow to get out of the defensive third.
Here was the early corner by Alyssa Vega that caused some havoc.
And there you see the attempt by Waldhauser, and nicely done by the defense, because clearly Waldhauser was out of the play once she misses that ball.
Torino will hold it up and locate Haley Dazzo. Dazzo, and she was looking to rip the ball ahead for McLeod, not far off. Haley Dazzo she's been something of a nemesis to Syosset in her career. Game-winning goal in the game at Syosset this year and last year. Brandt able to beat Kiker to it. Ball ahead, and Bella Romano again covered quite well, as both East Meadow center backs, that time Mary Boyle, had it. Lee looking for help, and she'll get it from Shin. Leary able to return the pass to Kiker. Emma Romano looking to send out Sister Bella. And Emma Romano will get the touch off of East Meadow, the quick re-entry. Espinoza hoping the ball carries out. It does not.
Well done by Espinoza. She did a very good job using her body to shield the ball, turns it, and gets it to her outside flank defender to help clear.
Ball turned over. Finelli almost turned and accelerated. And then Vega will try to send out McLeod. It could not, as Charinkin read the pass. Brandt to command the midfield. A fantastic dribble over the ball. McLeod will get it before the end line. And now try to go at Charinkin. McLeod waits for some support. Did not get there. Syosset trying to counter. Espinoza able to pick Emma Romano cleanly.
Nicely done. Right now, I think East Meadow has just only McLeod up top, which is allowing Syosset to be easily able to defend her with the multiple defenders that are playing deep. I think you're going to have to see East Meadow either move McLeod wide and take away those defenders, or they're going to have to play another offensive player up top, because McLeod is going 1v3, v4, and they're not getting the opportunities offensively.
Number 17.
Three subs for East Meadow. Sophomore Ella Foster, freshman Sarah Goncalves, freshman Rebecca Shari. All in off the bench. Foster and Goncalves likely will play the outside forward spots. And as Adam Hananel described their formation, they will typically or at times play with a 3-4-3 alignment. And tonight, as he described, we're closer to a 4-3-3, but it's not exactly one. It has some subtleties, and we're seeing the wings on the outside morph into a 4-5-1.
Exactly. They're playing that 4-5-1, leaving McLeod up top almost on an island by herself. And those wings have to either get forward quicker or they're going to not have a lot of offense. And I think they've really played into this 4-5-1 because Syosset has done such a good job in the midfield. They're pulling those wings back to help out in the midfield and take away the dominance that Syosset had earlier.
And conversely, Carey, Syosset also came out in a 4-3-3, which has looked a lot different than what's labeled on the other side's 4-3-3.
Yeah, correct. I believe that they really are looking to play with two up top.
Batkowitz. And it'll be a Syosset throw. Scarlett Espinoza, as Adam Hananel said, every time someone has watched us the first time, they ask, who is number 18? And that's sophomore Scarlett Espinoza, who was impressed again tonight. First-year starter as the right back, and her toughness has especially been known in the program, too. A giveaway, Cameron Miller, and stepped into by Kiker. And Shari didn't get rid of it. Finelli all over her. And we'll get a Syosset throw. And the Braves will make a substitution for the first time as Sarah Kratz will come in.
Sarah Kratz.
Kratz typically the backup center forward, so we'll see how they will line things up. And the Braves at some point will get Kendall Halpern back from her yellow card. Chirinkin able to recover. And East Meadow Carey has moved McLeod back into a center midfield spot.
I was just going to say that they've moved Goncalves up top and moved McLeod into the middle.
The chess match continuing. And we had the ball pointed, I thought, initially to East Meadow. It's going to be instead a foul and a restart from just off the edge of the box for Syosset.
Oh, this could be a dangerous situation for the East Meadow defense. Of course, Sparkowski helps tremendously, but it's still a very dangerous kind of opportunity that Syosset could take advantage of.
It's a low line drive as they look for a potential flick on. And it'll carry out.
And it'll still stay with Syosset.
And Carey, of course, these Syosset players well aware of who is in goal for East Meadow. How much do you address it, kind of balancing that, where you don't want your players thinking about it too much, or who is in goal, and maybe focusing on their shots, but how much do you address that?
Well, you know, as a coach, you know, you've got to make them think about the fact that they are up against one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best on Long Island. But every goalkeeper can be beat, and that's what I tell my players. Every goalkeeper can be beat if you are smart and you take the right shot.
This is a challenging shot. This one off the crossbar nearly beats Sparkowski. The shot from Bella Romano.
That was a quick, nicely executed turn and shot with the left foot.
And then McLeod reading the play, stripping Brandt. Joined by Goncalves, checking back. Ella Foster. Foster giving a lot of room. And then Foster delayed. Foster along for Scarlett Espinoza. And look to go inside for Pavone.
Espinoza did a nice job in trying to get that ball to Pavone. A little bit of the outside of the foot flick.
Finelli trying to lead Kratz. Kratz will get here. And she's taken out. It'll be a goal kick for East Meadow. Syosset coming up with their first scoring chance of the half.
And now watch as you see the attack by Syosset. Boyle does a very nice job getting back, but there's that shot from Romano quickly, perhaps catching Sparkowski a little bit by surprise.
Number 23, Emma Torino.
2 subs in, make it 3 subs in for East Meadow. As we near 16 minutes left in the second half. Lee was first to the challenge. Brandt in a collision with the holding midfielder Taylor Kiker. Foster this time trying to connect with McLeod. Hard step into by Shin. And they're going to call the foul. And this is especially Sparkowski territory. The foul called right at the 25. East Meadow is going to get a great look.
Well, here she comes. And this is the opportunity. I'm not so sure I see a foul there, to be honest, there, Ralph. I think Mr. Cully was very generous in giving the restart to East Meadow. But now, if you're Syosset, if you are able to get the ball, if Waldhauser can get the control of the ball and they leave somebody up top, there is the opportunity for a very quick counter with Sparkowski way out of the net.
In an area where she could look to strike to goal. Syosset trying to send some more numbers in a wall. And Syosset was in the midst of substitutions. I'm not sure Sarah Krotz heading over to the far sideline.
I'm not sure if Mr. Cully gave a card to Krotz. Maybe for dissent, I'm not sure.
In any event, it gets Halpern back on the field, which is good news for Syosset. And she will immediately go up to the wall to add some height.
So the only reason I can see that there was a substitution on a dead ball.
Sparkowski shooting for goal.
Oh, that was close again. That's 2 by Sparkowski that she has just put over the crossbar. And she's saying, oh, man, I wish I had that one again. A nice little try, a little bit of a touch, just carries too far over the crossbar. And those shots have beaten Waldhauser in the net. And I think right now Syosset has to be very careful not to give away those restarts in that offensive third.
The Jets will stay with possession. Sparkowski with 3 shots of the game among the leaders. But that's been part of East Meadow's recipe for success, as they're in their first county final since 2009. They went in 09 and 07, losing both times to Massapequa. Emma Romano slipped it to Brandt. As Bella Romano able to accelerate outside with Halpern on the wing.
Nice little ball control by Bella.
As Bella was able to follow it up, and now the foul will be called as Romano's progress was said to be impeded.
Nicely done. Bella does well to maintain the possession in tight space and then takes that opportunity, that touch, and you see the foul. A good call by Mr. Cully.
Bella Romano will take it. Again, she is a left-footed player, so this suits her quite well. And the Jets respecting that, showing 4 on the wall. Bella Romano.
And takes it with the left foot. The right idea. Bella had the right idea. She's got to send that ball a little bit more to her left to allow the spin on the ball with the left foot to put it on that backside or that side netting on the weak post.
Fortunately, the Romano twins wearing jersey numbers that are quite far apart from one another, 10 and 36. As Joe Marchetta described, they do go with different cleats, different hairstyles, so they are easier to pick out for defenders because one's right-footed, the other's left-footed. And that one came off of the Syosset body. And the Romanos well coached, as their dad, Vinny Romano, was an assistant on the women's soccer team at New York Tech. The coach, Carlos Del Cid. Brandt. Finelli was asking for it. Stepped into by Rose. Torino, good find to locate Vega. Foster will make the connection. As this one carried across, eventually towed down by Miller of Syosset. And then we'll get the late challenge as Espinoza got a little late nudge of Halpern. Each coach has had a chess match going between substitutions and subtle changes of alignment. But grade A chances have been hard to come by. It's been a well-played county final.
It certainly has. There have been very few real good opportunities for either team. The best have come off the dead ball.
Lee able to win it outside. As Finelli tries to keep it alive. And the follow-up. Gobbled up just momentarily by Brandt. And East Meadow will have it for the deep throw. We come up on 10.5 remaining. Syosset started the match very strong in the first 10 minutes, commanding possession and setting a tone that East Meadow had to climb back and level the game off with.
The pace of the game has also slowed down in this second half as well, Ralph. Earlier on, there was a much quicker pace played to the match in the first half. Whether it's a result of the girls being tired now, as we approach just under 10 minutes remaining in the regulation, or the defense has really just clamped down and not allowed the possession as it had in the first half.
McLeod runs into Charinkin. And then they'll get the foul. Good call as McLeod frustrated. She could not get through Sasha.
Well, the defense has been very good on both ends of the field, not allowing any of the offensive stars from either team very much room.
So Caitlin Shin ahead. A 4-year starter, mainly at center back for Syosset. Their leader on and off the field. Space for Halpern to bring it down nicely. Over the top, Leary slid over.
Halpern did a very nice job taking that ball out of the air, keeping it right close and playing the ball right up top.
A throw coming for the Braves. You can see how versatile, especially Syosset, can be. And as they sit here at 7-6-2, Joe Marquetta points to that as we've developed and found roles, but the difference late in the season is we've just finished a little bit better. Here's a shot right at Sparkowski by Bella Romano.
One of the few shots off the field, Ralph, and that one was right at Sparkowski. But again, I think Bella does a very nice job. She gets by one or two defenders, lets that left foot shot, lets it go.
And Joe Marquetta points to the maturity and overall demeanor of the freshmen. They've been able to step right in and play like upperclassmen. Of course, so much of that you have to credit Dad and the overall upbringing that they've had. Torino tried to slip it through. Touched on before that Emma and Bella Romano. So the long line of Romanos that have played Syosset girls soccer, they are the 7th and 8th, remarkably. They're the 4th and 5th sisters. Then their cousin, Danny Romano, we have not seen yet, is the 3rd sister in her family. One of the more known ones, Gianna Romano, back in the class of 2015, plays at Adelphi. But that's quite a pipeline from one family. And Bella a part of that, but can you imagine having 8 of them come through? Joe Marquetta has coached 7 of those 8 Romanos.
And I'm sure he would love to have some more come through with the ability that these young ladies have shown.
Fortunately, we're told for the moment the pipeline is closed. But having the youngest ones being just freshmen, it's still a long ways away.
3 more years to go with those young ladies that are very, very talented.
Miller left it to the outside for Lee. Leary tried to drive it through the middle, and eventually Pavone to settle for the East Meadow Jets. Knotted up in a good one in the Nassau Class AA County Final. Brandt able to get around Kiker. Romano able to get it to her strong left foot, and the shot can only skip in on Sparkowski.
And Sparkowski covers it up very well. You see how she gets her body behind the ball, 2 hands on the ball, and just sucks it right in with her body.
Attempted to slip the pass through Goncalves. Back for McLeod. And Shin, again, very careful not to foul. The advantage was given by Tom Cully, and then Waldhauser got a piece of it. That ball appeared like it was going out, and it will be an East Meadow corner.
I'm not sure why Waldhauser was going for the ball to begin with, and I'm not so sure that she might have touched it. I think she missed it there, to be honest. I think that was a goal kick, but I still don't understand why she was going for the ball. All she had to do was follow it out of bounds.
Maybe the break East Meadow needs. Vega to the 18. Leary capitalizes. Kayla Leary has been their star in the playoffs. That's now goals in all 3 playoff games. East Meadow leads with just 5 and change left.
Well, the all-state player, all Long Island from last year, was able to get her head on that ball without anybody challenging off the corner kick. She was right in the middle of the goal. I'm not sure where it was situated, but look where this ball is, and look where Kayla Leary is, right at the top of the 6. She was uncontested in going up for the head ball. There had to be a defender, has to challenge her and at least make her feel that she's going to be under some pressure.
Kayla Leary with her 4th of the season.
East Meadow goal scored by number 19, Kayla Leary.
Jets coach Adam Hananel couldn't say enough about one of his senior leaders. That is an emotional tone setter of this team and this program.
He said to us that she is so effective in the air. She wins every air ball, and there she was winning that so important air ball off the corner kick. And interestingly enough, isn't that how they won their earlier game against this very same Syosset team, Ralph?
Yeah, that's now all 3 goals scored by East Meadow against Syosset, either directly or soon after a corner or restart. Kayla Leary's 4th comes in the 84th minute. Alyssa Vega on the assist. Player that was not just first team All Long Island last year, but first team All State in the AA classification. They gave her a job back as a freshman to shadow Oceanside's talented scorer Julia Duffy, who went to post. And she was so upset when Duffy scored a goal. Adam Hananel knew that, wow, we have quite the competitor and quite the demeanor to build our program around with.
Well, she is certainly a key centerpiece of any defense.
Half of a Syosset foul. Sparkowski, who's been dangerous on all 3 of her restarts. Waldhauser, and Waldhauser able to secure.
After a brief bobble of the ball, able to just fall on it and maintain the possession.
Miller tried to push it forward. Can the Braves generate one good look? Riley Miller. Brandt down the middle. The connection to Halpern. Halpern trying to stay on it. Finelli will glide in. Had the centering pass. This one redirected off of Halpern's body and wide.
Well, there was a little bit of an attack, a little bit of pressure being exerted now by Syosset. They know that they have to really come forward now, and they're going to push numbers forward. I would certainly expect Halpern aggressively going to that ball, and it being deflected off of her and out of bounds.
Miller, she forced it ahead, and Halpern beaten to it by Leary. 2 minutes to go in the second half. The Braves in their first county final. East Meadow looking for the second championship in program history. Ball skipping past Bella Romano. A throw coming for Syosset as they nudge a lot more numbers forward. Espino's able to read the pass. Halpern tried to drop it to feet. Bella Romano, a service. Sparkowski didn't handle it cleanly. The ball goes in! Sparkowski with a rare bobble. It cost East Meadow. The Braves celebrate. It could be Brandt, but the game for certain is tied.
What an opportunity for Syosset when they throw the numbers forward and they get the service in the box. And that is Bella, who attacks the end line and has the left foot off the left wing. And you saw the ball not handled by Sparkowski. And it was Brandt who was right there to be able to finish it on the back post.
Avani Brandt. Something about playing on Fios, huh? Third of the season. And it is 1-all. Goal coming in the 80, or make it the 78th minute. Bella Romano now fouled. And the Braves may not be done yet as Bella Romano is in pain.
Well, with Mr. Cully stopping the clock for the injury to Bella, she'll clearly, obviously, have to come off, hoping that she's okay. But with 37 seconds remaining in regulation, she'll have a little extra time on the sideline to recover before the extra time begins. And it looked like she got stepped on by one of the defenders when she made the turn.
As she's tended to, Carrie, let's get another look.
There is the service coming from Bella, and the ball not being handled cleanly from Sparkowski. One of the so few errors that this young lady has made over the course of her career. And yet being right there, Avani Brandt on the back post to be able to just nudge that ball in the back of the net.
And Sparkowski, you could see how upset she was. She's made that play probably a million times with the training and the upbringing the junior has come up with. And Syosset has found a way. And meanwhile, Bella Romano is going to leave here. And gingerly walking off the field, so it'll allow Sharinkin to take this restart. And of course, we will see if she's able to return.
Now, with 37 seconds left, if I'm Syosset, they've got 3 defenders sitting back. I would bring these 3 defenders forward and try and just get more numbers in the box. East Meadows does not have any offensive player. They have nobody up near the midfield stripe, so you don't have to be overly concerned about a counter if you want to leave one back, but put the others forward.
Charinkin, she hits the crossbar. There is the opportunity on the head ball sent wide. It was Brandt again.
Wow, what an opportunity. A great restart. That ball coming right off the crossbar. Sparkowski goes up, and if that header is on goal, that could be game time for Syosset.
What drama in the final minutes. But Syosset and East Meadow will need extra time to decide Nassau County in 2018. Avani Brandt stayed with it and somehow found a way to beat Stephanie Sparkowski. 1-1 between the Braves and the Jets in the Nassau Class AA final on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. You're watching Long Island High School girls soccer today on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our action. Here comes our fourth overtime and a 5-minute golden goal situation. Ralph Bednarchuk with Carrie Gluck. Syosset and East Meadow tied up at 1. Let's show you how we got here all the way to the 75th minute. Alyssa Vega's corner headed in by Kayla Leary.
And what an excellent goal by Kayla Leary. Always so dangerous in the air. Was able to get her head on that one uncontested. And what a service. There you saw a great ball played across by Romano and not handled cleanly by Sparkowski, resulting in a goal for Syosset.
That was Avani Brandt on the finish, and that came in the 78th minute. Syosset had one more chance after that with 37 seconds on a Sasha Charinkin restart, and she hit the crossbar, and the follow-up rebound by Brandt was sent wide. Otherwise, we wouldn't be playing. McLeod couldn't reach it. So we remain now in a golden goal situation in our final 5 minutes of 20 total overtime minutes we could play. Foster saw the entry around her, but taken care of nicely there by Caitlin Shin. And Espinoza read the pass coming in to Batkowitz.
Good combination play by Syosset, linking 3 and 4 passes together to get it trying to get it out to Halpern.
McLeod trying to reach it, and it's going to be a deep throw for East Meadow. In terms of penalty kicks, the only player with any experience in that format, at least at the high school level, I'm sure at the club level, the players do, is here's McLeod. Plays it across, looking for Foster. Shot never got through. Follow up to Kiker, and then we get an East Meadow foul. It was back in 2015 when Stephanie Sparkowski was an 8th grader as we see the foul. And that was behind the play, intended for Foster. But back as an 8th grader, Sparkowski was splitting time most of the year, but became the starting goalie in the playoffs against Long Beach in a first-round game. She came up with a career-high 16 saves in a penalty kick game that East Meadow lost. Bella Romano able to pivot. Now from the outside shooting and right into the arms of Sparkowski.
And safely into the arms. Sparkowski played that very well, handled it very cleanly, as she does most balls played into the 6-yard box.
Miller, and this one may have grazed the arm of an East Meadow player as the crowd reacted. But we'll get a Syosset sub. And I think the crowd might have seen it.
Syosset substitution.
I think everyone might have seen it, except for Mr. Cully.
And this is just going to be a throw. Syosset not quite the same kind of team on restarts, but Charinkin has shown she's got a very accurate foot from the outside. Foster, and Shin was able to force it back. So Emma Romano, she's been the left back now for the last half hour of the game. Miller, backside run, Nikki Finelli. Finelli able to turn, look for the service inside, Leary cleans up. Riley Miller off of a volley, and Sparkowski appeared like she let it go through. It was off target.
Well, as soon as that ball came out to the foot of Riley Miller, it was clear and evident to me that she was going to let that one go, which I think was the right thing to do. You definitely are running low on time. Take the shots when you can get them now.
And this is a golden goal situation. Emma Romano, final seconds of overtimes. Brandt off of a body. Ahead, Halpern won't reach it. And that's going to do it. So after another 20 minutes of play, Syosset and East Meadow do head into penalty kicks to decide Nassau County Class AA. That drama is on the way on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. Both teams after the huddles coming out with great energy to motivate themselves and show appreciation for their crowds in their community that have come out and stuck with them all night to support them in this Nassau Class AA County Final. By the way, both teams are considered at this moment co-champions. So Syosset has their first technically, and now this is deciding who advances to the Long Island Final against either Hills East or Smithtown West. Syosset will be the home team in this case. They'll be shooting second. So East Meadow will shoot first with Stephanie Sparkowski, the goalie of the Jets, against freshman Eve Waldhauser, the goalie of Syosset. Both teams have made their choices of 5 shooters. So Sparkowski first. And Waldhauser makes the save. Or check that, that is not Waldhauser, that's Kendall Halpern that has become the keeper wearing Waldhauser's jersey.
They changed the keeper, and I think that's probably a good move on the part of Coach Marquetta.
You and I both got the list of shooters for Syosset, wondering, okay, Halpern is not one of them. That's because her job is to become the goalie. But one of the top overall athletes on Long Island. Meanwhile, here's Sasha Charinkin. And Charinkin tucks it in, 1-0 Braves.
Well, the senior looked very calm on that one as she's just stepped up. Has not scored a goal this season. That was her first one, and a pretty important one.
Now shooting for East Meadow. Number 18, Scarlett Espinosa.
Charinkin did not have a goal during these 2 years. This is the put away from Scarlett Espinosa. Not wasting any time. We're tied at 1.
There you see Espinosa playing it very nicely. Side of the foot, opens up the hip. So once a shooter opens the hip, it's got to go to the right side with the right-footed shooter.
Isabella Romano.
Now freshman Bella Romano. And Sparkowski comes up with the denial.
As talented as Sparkowski is and as intelligent as she is a keeper, she's reading she's reading what Romano is doing, and as I just said, once the shooter opens the hip, they've got to go to the shooting side of the direction of the foot. So with the left-footed shooter, open the hip, you know the ball's going to the left.
Kayla Leary against Kendall Halpern. And Halpern makes the save. The three-sport standout headed to Northwestern in 2 years for lacrosse. What a time to become a goalie.
And nicely saved, too. And looks like she's been in the goal her whole life. She looks comfortable in there making the save.
Now shooting for Syosset, number 13.
To complete the third round. Four-year varsity starter at center back, Caitlin Shin, a two-time captain. And Sparkowski parries it out off the bar.
That was just an outstanding save by Sparkowski to be able to get her fingertips on that one, to be able to hit the side, the side bar right there and bounce out onto the field of play.
To the fourth round of shooters. Junior Alyssa Vega left the match shaken up.
Number 11, Alyssa Vega.
Vega, a calm put away. East Meadow takes the lead 2-1.
Perfectly placed, right where you want to place it as a shooter, right on the side netting to be able to finish off that shot.
Now senior Cameron Miller for Syosset, starting center back.
11, Cameron Miller.
And Miller had Sparkowski leading 2-2 after 4.
Well done in her execution. Places it, and Sparkowski going to her right for the righty shooter.
Now Mila McLeod.
Now shooting for East Meadow, number 10, Mila McLeod.
And McLeod fires it home.
She struck that one well. There was no way that Halpern was going to get herself in position to be able to knock that one out. Look how nicely she strikes the ball, puts it right in the corner of the netting.
Now it is up to Avani Brandt, sophomore standout center midfielder for Syosset, to extend this one. Sparkowski with a save
Number 19,
allows East Meadow to advance. Grant calmly puts it away. Will play into a sixth round.
Avani strikes this one well, puts it up high. Sparkowski looking to go down low, but the young sophomore hitting that one with such poise, with such composure, in such a pressure situation, Ralph, knowing that the game, the championship, was on the line with her taking that PK.
So after 5 rounds, the coaches Joe Marcato from Syosset, Adam Hananel from East Meadow, have to think about who their next shooters are as you get deeper into your rosters.
Well, from here on, as I believe it, unless they're different in Nassau, this is sudden victory at this point.
One round at a time. Well, how about the move by Joe Marcato? Kendall Halpern, again, such a uber talented athlete across 3 sports, but to put his best overall athlete in goal and ask her to make a couple saves, she did that. And some coaching here just in terms of perhaps nuances to look for. Truly a crash course.
Well, I also think he may very well be asking her, do you want to take one? That's a big part of this too, from a coaching perspective. you want to make sure you're putting players up there that want to be there. You don't want to put a player on the line when the championship is at their foot if they don't want to be the one responsible for making the goal or missing it.
As Joe Marchetta and both coaches study their players, their body language at this point, everybody's shaking because, period, it's cold. We'll start there, but it looks like it will remain as East Meadow shooting first rather than switching sides in the order. What tension with so much history on the line. Syosset had grabbed the 1-0 lead before Scarlett Espinoza tied it after 2 rounds. Both shooters missed after 3. Both shooters scored after 4 and 5. And Halpern, she looks the calmest out of everybody.
She does. She looks very relaxed, standing there on the line. And truthfully, the bottom line is there is very little pressure on the keeper. The pressure is on the shooter.
This is going to be Mary Boyle, the senior center back for East Meadow. So she will start us off. Now it's just round by round. And Boyle again tucks it in calmly. East Meadow back in front. The Braves must match.
Well, Boyle didn't strike that one real well, but well enough to hit the back of the net, and that's all that matters. And now, can Sparkowski come up with the save?
And this is Danny Romano, junior midfielder. Danny Romano, I believe, Carrie, she did not get in during the game.
Now kicking for Syosset.
So from that perspective, cold, it's a challenge.
Very tough to put a player who has not been in the game emotionally and physically into this particular position.
To tie. She does. Ice cold and ice cold veins.
Just ice in the veins, what I was going to say. She struck it well. Comes on the angle. And that makes it, you see how Sparkowski was anticipating coming from the angle that you're going to open the hip and go to that right side.
Now to the 7th round as both teams get deeper into their lineups. Freshman Rebecca Sherry. And Sherry right at Halpern.
Tough to put a freshman in that position. Again, another freshman that took that was one name that I don't believe we saw during the course of the match, Ralph.
Carrie, you called it. Halpern not only in goal, but now is going to shoot to give Syosset an appearance in their first Long Island final.
Now kicking Kendall Halpern.
She does, and Syosset advances for the first time.
And after that round of PKs, Syosset 6, East Meadow 5.
Kendall Halpern, one of Long Island's top overall athletes, likely going to be an all-county player in 3 different sports, plays goalie perhaps for the first time ever, and then hits the shot to put it away against Long Island's top keeper.
And struck it again. She struck it well. She hits it with the side of the foot, opens up that hip so you know she's going to the right. And Sparkowski goes to the opposite direction. But as a keeper, you've got to just guess and hope that you guess correctly but I like the way Kendall Halpern dealt with being in the goal and taking the final shot.
A remarkable finish. Two very quality teams. It is Syosset, the team that advances. We're back with a post-game wrap-up and reaction on Verizon Fios 1 Sports.